Life is so funny sometimes. Literally, I could be fucking dying and on my way to take myself to the hospital, and I will still pick a good song to play. I can't help it. Welcome to Heard You Like It Raw. I'm your host, Nicolina. I thought so much about this introduction, and naturally, as one always does, I used ChatGPT to try to give me some ideas. Here's one that I thought I'd share. What's up, lovers of life? I'm Nicolina, your feisty companion on this journey through the wild terrain of reality. Welcome to Heard You Like It Raw, where we dish out the truths others only whisper. Brace yourselves for laughs, gasps, and a sprinkle of sexy banter. This isn't your grandma's podcast unless your grandma's into raw, unfiltered conversations. Get ready to dive deep, get sassy, and embrace the allure of Heard You Like It Raw. And while there were some good parts about it, there were also some not so good parts. And a lot of the other ones were like, hey, gorgeous souls, hey, fearless explorers of reality. And I was like, oh, that is just not me. So I decided to just laugh about that a little bit. And yeah, just kind of dive right into it, because why the heck not? Trigger warning now that I will be cursing a lot. So yeah. I look forward to diving into the realms of life and spirituality with everybody here. And it's not just going to be a spiritual podcast, but a lot of like spiritual tendencies and stuff. You know, I like to think really introspectively, and I really love being in this state in my little hippie waves and shit like that, because I think it's really cool and creative to step into this type of perspective and reality on things, and, you know, really think about things in the way we feel and actually see them, you know, for what they are and what this greater thing is, you know. Like, whenever I talk about like spirituality and shit, like, I'm always just talking about just something that's bigger than us, you know. Like, we all are humans, and it's just, there is something bigger. We all got here some way, somehow. We all have our different ideologies and all of these things, and that's great. And I'm all for everybody having their opinions. And, you know, I don't think any one is right. I think we are all right in our own ways about it, in the way we see the world. And yeah, I just really like stepping into this side of myself, because I don't get to do that a lot, because we're in this type of society, a very money driven based society, and we got to get jobs, and we got to get an apartment or get houses, place to live, food, etc. We have to do these things and work really hard and be really tactical and practical and analytical, and we don't really get to be that introspective sometimes. So I like when people get to have that shared comfortable space to just talk about these things and just be real and be like, hey, let's just fucking talk about it, and it's all cool, you know, because talking about it isn't what makes it a problem. The problem already exists. Bringing these things up is actually how we, you know, conquer those problems. We face them. We bring them up. We say it with our chest. We face them. And, you know, I just really like stepping into this fucking side of my brain, because I think it's cool, as opposed to my very like driven, ambitious type of person where I got to think really strategically about all things I do and say. And I like to take a step back and relax. So yeah, welcome to Inside My Mind, talking to you, the audience. It's really great that we're all here. Every single morning I say I'm grateful for another day on this beautiful, abundant planet. Sorry there. I always say I'm grateful for another day on this beautiful, abundant planet, and it really is true. Every day we get another opportunity to do things. We really have all the control, and it's so funny because, you know, the whole thing is like to surrender to the control, and that you can't control everything, and that is the truth and all, but in that you have all the power to surrender, to lead yourself to other ways, go with your intuition, let your intuition lead you. And yeah, really, really cool. So welcome. This is going to be a really cool podcast. I'm going to talk about many, many things under the sun, but I just wanted to get out, this little intro episode and explain how it's gonna go. First, I am just, again, so happy and grateful to be talking with you all today. This has been a long journey of mine, and I'm finally here at this launch. I've been doing this for so long. I've been thinking about it for so long as well. Oh, how exciting. Okay. I've just been really wanting to do some form of putting my words into art, and I decided to do a podcast because I really have a lot to say, and I just want to get it out. I want to get it out and talk to people and just bring light to a lot of things that I feel are important and should be talked about. And I want to do it in a really kind and compassionate and comedic way as well. We're going to laugh a lot too. So very proud of myself for getting this shit done because, life is fucking hard, honestly, and trying to do like your creative things when you want to do something and you're just kind of having to deal with life and things that come up, it's inevitable and stuff. So I decided to post this episode on my birthday today, not today, but I decided to post it on my birthday, December 9th, because I wanted to give myself this gift of finally producing and publishing the art that I've been craving to release to the world, right? Exactly. Amazing. Also, I cannot believe that it's already December, holy shit, what a fucking year. I'm recording this a little bit before December, so, who knows what the next, month will have for me, but all good things coming towards me and everybody, and just what a fucking year, am I right? So I started this year, what feels like decades ago, living a completely different life. Really is crazy how fast life can change when you start choosing the shit you love more. I wanted to get our introductions out of the way before I dove headfirst into this vast journey we are about to embark on. I really wanted to introduce myself and have you get to know me before you judge my views on topics of the world. I tell everyone I'm a very seasoned 24-year-old, posting this when I will be turning 25. What a crazy year. I'm so excited. 24 was rough for me. If I wasn't seasoned then, I'm extra fucking seasoned now. Wow, a lot of growth this year. And, I also mean that so wholeheartedly. I have lived many lives in these short trips around the sun. Everybody says, oh, you're so young, you don't know. I'm like, oh, no, I know, man. I probably know a lot more than you, honestly. I've seen and been through more than most people will in their entire lives, and I am been told I'm a badass at powering through it all. Anyway, my name is of Greek origin. It means warrior of the people. I really do live by that too, and I keep always trying to live by that, and I'm constantly fighting the good fight and fighting for what is right. And fighting doesn't have to be an angry or negative thing. It just means that's like the stance you're taking. You're standing in this power. You're holding your own. You're firm with your beliefs. And I really don't care what many people's backgrounds are or anything like that. Just be a good person. I fuck with you. Through my yoga teacher training that I got done, I received my spiritual name, meaning beautifully overcoming life's obstacles, and that has pretty much been my life, and I'm here to share it all with you. So my story and what led me to creating this podcast. Well, for as long as I could remember, I have always loved to talk and loved all things creative and mystical, and I've always been curious to find a better understanding for the world and the way life works. I found that it's really fucking hard to live a happy life when you have so much baggage that you're not dealing with. The ways our society works baffles me sometimes. I really do be sitting here really? Y'all thought that was the best way to handle it? I feel like there was definitely a lot nicer solutions out of this, or a lot easier solutions, but people making life harder. I love working smarter, not harder. I've always been very innovative and problem solving, and this comes from years of being in fight or flight mode and having literally to problem solve every single thing and handfuls of traumatic situations. It's really a big disadvantage to your own personal growth and happiness to have a shitty hand of cards dealt. I will be breaking down how all of this really affects us and why it's important to nurture and support and provide for the little ones. The first 5 years of one's lives are most important because they're most impressionable. They're the first impressions you see. They're like the foundations to like what we're going to first know, what we're going to first believe and feel and think and all of that. And, I had a pretty awesome childhood and have some amazing childhood memories. But when I turned about 9 years old, everything kind of went to shit. I didn't know why exactly until I got a little bit older. And yeah, when I was first like trying to figure out how to say that part, I was gonna be like, yeah, everything's all good. Then I turned fucking 9, like this is crazy. And I laugh and joke about these things now because, well, I think laughter's the best medicine. That's truthfully, there's nothing like, I love making people laugh. I love laughing when I'm sad. I love laughing, right? And then on a spiritual level, it's actually one of the highest vibrational frequencies, or the highest ways you can raise your vibrational frequency too. To laugh a lot is actually constantly making your life better. And then there's a lot of other scientific research on it and stuff. But I really like that. I used to be really dark, really dark humor is in there. I love me some dark humor. But you just can't help it. Sometimes you just gotta laugh through it, And anyway, so I laugh about these things now because I have also done tremendous work on myself to heal those parts and really let that shit go. And damn, I really love where I am today and I wouldn't change a goddamn thing. Little like trigger warnings in here. I'm gonna probably be saying some things that are just deep and dark and just real and honest. And I just want to let people know about this just before. We're just going to talk about some real good shit and funny shit and awesome shit. And it's going to be a fun little journey, right? So basically, like, my family kind of fell apart after then. Like, everybody got split up and all of this stuff. And I moved around a lot. And then from 5th grade until I graduated graduated high school to go to college, I was in the same place, right? And my point is in this and sharing this part is that I never really had a stable home after 9 years old. Even before splits, we moved around a lot. I never had that home type of feeling that most kids have. And I mean, nowadays, most kids are like children of divorce. But when I was growing up, all my neighbors, everybody I saw, all the people I went to school with, like, I knew I was really missing that safe, secure, comfort feeling, being able to run home into your mom's or dad's arms or blah, 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 blah. And it's just things that kind of fuck you up and you don't realize that they come up until you're an adult. Like, when you're younger, you feel that sadness. But when you're an adult, you're like, oh, yikes. Like, this came up in this way and all of that. And anyway, yeah, so the holidays were always fucking weird. I've spent like the most of them alone the last couple of years, slowly building my own ways of tradition, but not having that same type of thing. My family was not a nuclear family at all. There was a lot of chaos, a lot of bullshit, a lot of fuckingness. There was a lot of not fucking like as in that, not that kind. Love, there were a lot of good things too. I had a lot of things to be grateful for. I had a safe place when I was in high school, but that doesn't dismiss any of the fucking other shit that, happened. It just made it a lot better, right? And didn't know all this chaos, all these things that happened to my family until I was like 13 years old. And a family member of mine got into an argument with me, and long story short, they threw all the bad stuff in my face because I disagreed with them. They told me that my fun, happy childhood was just a mask behind layers of deceit, dishonesty, cheating, drugs, manipulation, and many more negative things. And that was like a fucking game changer, it was such a lie. It was like, wow, you were doing all of that when I was like frolicking in the grass with my sister. Like, that's just insane, and just a lot of crazy things, right? After that, looked at everybody in my family differently, besides mainly my sisters. I love them so dearly, and yeah, just what came out of all of this is growing up with drug addicts, narcissists, alcoholics, manipulators, broken homes, a lot of fucking toxicity, you name it. I've probably been through it. So much more, and we'll get into details. Like, I'll have episodes regarding these topics, and again, trigger warning now, it's gonna get heavy and beautiful and deep. Speaking of toxicity, my first love. I love. I had a long-term boyfriend from 16 to like 20-ish. He was fucking insane. Still is. I bring this one up because I really am a romantic, and it was something that I didn't fully accept about myself until like the last couple of years. I really love love. I love all things under that umbrella. I love how crazy it is and captivating it is. It is just one of the coolest things that we can experience as a human. And I have like a couple friends that have never been in love, and like they're scared or they're whatever. They've seen so many people get hurt, and I'm like, oh, just keep falling. It is beautiful. It is amazing. We don't, I will continue falling madly in love. I'm not afraid of it. But I wanted to point out, though, that when you experience traumatizing and abusive relationships, that shit fucks you up for a long time. Like, we don't realize how much power and influence our romantic partners really have over us. Relationships are hard, and when they're toxic, they're even harder, especially even harder to let go of. And especially when you are a child or teenager still having your brain form and not realizing how impressionable these people you're in relationships with will have on you as you become an adult. I will definitely be deep diving into these topics even more, multiple times. I can also talk about relationships and how they really shape us for fucking hours. If y'all ever want to talk about relationships and need advice, I'm your gal. Anyways, after I left him, I had a lot of crazy growth points and a lot of shit come up that I didn't know would affect me as badly as they did. The way someone talks to you for years makes you believe that's the way life goes. I really thought I was unworthy, ugly, never good enough. I was too afraid to speak up. I was too afraid to have my own opinion. I shut myself out so others could shine. And that's not good for anybody. Why? You are all the sun. You are all the damn sun. I am the sun. You are the sun. Just always fucking know that. And, that's something I'd never thought I'd be able to say. And I also wouldn't be able to say that I wouldn't change a damn thing, I wouldn't change a damn thing through all of these things, because I think, I really love who I am today, and I don't know if I hadn't had those experiences that would have happened. And it's taken me a while to really have that fucking self-love. So that's something that I'm proud of, and everybody else should be proud of. And fuck anybody else that shits on that or thinks I'm X, Y, and Z for saying things like, I love myself. You should be able to say you love yourself. I want you to love yourself. I want everybody to love themselves. I want everybody to scream, I love myself so much. And anyway, I really do believe that relationships held me back from a lot of early successes I could have had. I've always been super ambitious, constantly having goals and dreams and all of this stuff and just wanting to do better. And I realized over time that it really all lies in your belief system. You think what you become. And if you're constantly thinking that what that toxic person says about you is true, then you're going to live that truth until you uncover your own definition of who you are. And that takes a lot. It really does. Especially when that box is all you've known for years. It's hard to make that shift. But when you do, the view is amazing. And after that, for me, I was in college and single, and then evidently fell in love again. This time it was different. It was better. But as I look back, it also held me back. I really held this kid on a pedestal, and I shifted away from my own dreams and passions and belief systems and fell into being what I thought he wanted out of me. I completely changed myself for him, and that's what not knowing who you are does to you. If you don't properly heal and love yourself after one relationship, you can very easily fall right into the story someone else writes for you. And that's also what happened when I was in high school, when I first fell in love in the first place. I was not in a good place to give myself over to somebody like that. Sure, it was great for me at the time. And like I said, again, I wouldn't change a damn thing. But it's crazy when you don't have that structure and your own definitions of what safety, security, confidence, all of those things, everything looks for you, the way life looks for you. it's hard. It's really, really hard. And you can so easily just fall in and give yourself up to somebody. And if you don't properly heal and love yourself, gosh. So we really need to take a look at our own story and the one we want to create. And that's why I love love. It's so powerful, though. It truly is incredible and magical and can have this chokehold on some people. It's insane. But check yourself before you wreck yourself. No one's saying there's a right or wrong time to jump back into a relationship, but definitely be sure that's what you want and what you're happy with, because it can be a slippery slope if you aren't aware of these things, and which is what happened to me. And after that relationship, I had 2 years of intense growth. I really got the opportunity to find myself and discover parts about me that I didn't know. One thing through this always rung true: my career. This has constantly been my focus, even ever since I was a child. Gosh, especially ever since I was a child. When I graduated in 2021, due to COVID, I had zero fucking experience. This screwed me out of a lot, and the anxieties were super high. Super fucking high. Oh my God. Like, literally worst nightmare come through. I bust my ass in school. I go to college. I bust more ass in school. And then I graduate and I'm like, oh my, zero experience. And I was like, fuck, So a lot of other people were just set up way better for success, and I was fucked. I was panicked. I was like, oh my God, I felt so much more behind than other people, and I was freaking out. And it gets better. It always does. And it's pretty normal to freak out during that time anyway. But I thought I would never make it out of that time. I thought I was never going to get a job, and all the horrible things that you would think when graduating with zero experience and only seeing job listings that require years of experience would do to you. And anyway, that was a hell of 2 years of random experience that I'll get into later. Another reason why I wanted to start this podcast is just being a fucking adult. Like, the chronicles of being a 20 fucking year old. Like, oh my God. And like, older generations like laugh. They're like, haha, I remember that. Yeah, I was 20. I didn't fucking know. Well, help. Tell me, what'd you do? God, like, we really are not doing the best. Okay, everybody, with like the good majority of the population, not the best. There's people that are doing amazing things out there and highly successful. But there's also a good majority not really doing okay, and it's not really fair. Anyway, another thing about me is I truly have always felt very different than others, and other people have like, when you just sit there and you just feel feel like the odd one out of the room, like that feeling has kind of just been like, I know in my head, I'm like, oh, these guys, not that I've like always been like super excluded, it used to be like that. I always wanted to belong, and that's really anybody wants, but that wasn't what I'm getting at here. Is just that I feel different, as in like, I don't think y'all are thinking the same way I am. I think I'm having a little more suspicious thoughts than all of you. Like, I'm thinking a little too deep about this shit. And I just think it's funny, and I love these perspectives. I love all different perspectives, because everybody's perspectives are different. And that's also what I mean by that, is like, I don't think you're thinking what I'm thinking, and that's why I want to share. And then you can tell me what you were thinking. And I doubt it's the same thing, but I bet they're both cool, right? And yeah, honestly, just to go back to meaning that that's all anyone truly wants, is to belong, because Harvard actually did a study on relationships. So like, the people in our lives really do make us the happiest. Another connection, it's all about that, y'all. And you should read it. Go check it out. Anyways, I have always been, I'd like to add to my being different. I've always been like insanely self-aware and very observant, like being like, hey, did you see that? And everyone's like, what? I'm like, all right. and observant of others and their behaviors and their emotions. I've always been very in tune to people's emotions, and they would weigh heavy on me, almost like I was taking them on myself. Come to later on my spiritual journey, many people have told me that I am an empath, I am an empathetic person, and it's hard for me to fully say that without busting out laughing, if I'm being honest. Just can't confidently say that, but like learning a lot about what that actually is, like it is very much me. And I've had so many people like tell me, so many very intuitive people, intuitive readings tell me that is me, and that's why I need to do all these things, right? Anyway, and yeah, just like being super fucking observant of everything and fascinated by numerology, always noticing the tiny details in things, and later on in life finding out it's nothing about that, but I still notice it. And I think also too, like ADHD brain, y'all, it's our superpower. It really is. I knew I made the right degree choice in college because I chose communications, and the shit I learned, you see, everybody jokes about how it's a bullshit degree. What can you even do with communications? Scoff at it, whatever. You know, fucking losers. What are you gonna do? Talk? yeah, we are. Anyway. But what we're gonna talk about is, especially if you're like me, very, very curious, very, very observant, and very fascinated by human life and connection and like our emotions and all this stuff, you learned a lot more than most people will in their entire life. Because it's really the study of people. Not just, it is how we communicate, but it's also the study of people and our reactions and how we really process things, and kind of like a psychology thing, you know, but just how we communicate to others and to themselves, and how we communicate with our bodies and with our word choices and word manipulation. And the study of people is to also know like yourself. So through all these courses, I'm like, oh, now watching all the things I say and do, knowing all these tactics, like we learned a lot about too, like manipulative behaviors and manipulative tactics with wording and shit like that, and like negotiation tactics, etc., persuasion, blah blah blah, right? All that stuff. And like now I'll hear people talk and I'm like, oh my god, you're trying to pull one over on me. This is silly. This is really silly. But yeah, so just want to let you know also, like, the answers really are right in front of us. People are always telling you exactly what you need to hear, you know? So the human form is such an incredible thing. We go through our days worried about actual materialistic things, imaginary things, physical things, but never pay attention to like our own body, our own little thing, like what's going on in there? What is this thing that moves us around all day to do all of our materialistic thing? What's going on? And a lot of people do, and I love that the world is getting healthier and happier and more conscious and more self-aware. And, you know, though, I can't help but be a little angry at the world for not doing this forever ago, you know, from the start. Like why are we all now like, oh, there, we found a way. Like, we should have just done this from the start. Like I don't understand. So it's like, okay, so now that we all, you know, are like, we should have done this, why isn't it happening faster? And that's just my own thing, you know, and I can only see what I can see, and I'm only so small, and I don't really know if that's what they're working on that there. You don't know what you don't know, right? So before anyone gets mad at me for that, I don't know what I don't know, okay? So I think it'd be, you know, hey guys, why don't we just do this? And it's like, things don't work like that most of the time, right? So anyway, but yeah, this change, this shift, like I really believe we need to get back to our roots and to feel safe and to just come together and have that community again and take care of the planet and take care of ourselves and restore nature, restore our bodies, and learn how to take care of it without any like man-made drugs or anything, because that thing is clearly just this constant cycle of killing the earth and killing us. And it just feels like a lot, because the average person knows little to nothing about what's going on inside their body, nor how to properly take care of it. So that's why a lot of people like won't do that, but like strength in numbers. So like the more we all come together and like help each other, the easier it will all be. That's literally why they say strength in numbers. Makes sense. Anyway, we know that being curious and using our creative brain is a main key to invoking happiness and finding your way. And you need to use that part of your brain more. And that's why I, for one, wanted to get on here and do this, because this is the way I'm creative and introspective. And this is a way to invoke happiness for me, is to get on here and just talk about things that I just feel. These are just my feelings. These are things I feel, and I just want to say them. And yeah, and the world isn't all analytical all the time. Even some people to believe it to be. Hell, even spend their whole life studying it to prove that life is a simple, tiny little fact. And you're just wrong, because at the start of it all your science, all your facts, there's still magic that initiated this first little poof that is now branched out and been studied for centuries. And every single story, every single belief, that magic poof happens at the start, no matter what. The magic put it all here. It's truly the only logical explanation, because you can't logically explain it and prove it. Everybody always goes down a rabbit hole whenever they try to talk about it, and it's just crazy. And anyways, we're in a vibrational frequency-based world. To add to that, and by that, we are immediately dependent on the law of attraction. And that's what everyone says when they're like, oh, you create your own reality. And it's like, no, like you kind of do. The more self-aware you become, and the more you tune in, and the more negativity you let go of, the more power you have, because now your vision is clear and your aura is clear, and you're able to focus more precisely on what change is needed in your life. And you know, I've had amazing people in my life that have showed me how to get out of that stuck environment in my head that I was in. I wasn't able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Growing up the way I did, I have a lot of heavy trauma. I had a lot of heavy trauma stuck with me from being a product of my environment. My mind was programmed to think and believe certain ways because of negative people's influences on my earlier days. And I really emphasize on people being a product of your environment, because I've studied my own life and the ways my environment has shaped me, and whether that may be developing fears or mental health issues, or simply the way I get in and out of a car. You know, we all act based on learned behaviors, and it's true. So you gonna tell me everything you do and say and act is all you invented all of it? You funny. Another reason I wanted to do this intro episode before launching every single Wednesday is because you should understand how the episode structures are going to work. Through all things good and bad, there's a lot of shit that needs to be pointed out, and with real people, real normal, not normal, but just regular people, you know, like humans, the good majority of humans that aren't living a lavish, luxurious lifestyle. And I want to have people on here that are truly great humans. And I feel like when it comes to all things social media, music, art, everyone thinks you need to do things a certain way and only have certain people on it. But that's not the way I want to do that. That's not the kind of life I want to see anymore. So many people tried to tell me I couldn't do something like this, or if I do it this way, it won't take a hit, but I don't really care. I'm doing this so the good people in life can finally have an outlet to share their own story and unique perspective on the world, because there's too much exclusivity, and I talked about this earlier, like community. We need to bring that back. Like, I don't fuck with exclusivity. So this is for good humans who want the world to be a better place, and that want to come here and laugh and be able to talk about things, because, you know, life is hard and we're all human. So why can't we just come together and talk about it and be treated fairly? And it's not fair to people who have not had the same opportunities as others, because everyone wants to keep fucking gatekeeping success rather than just see the fact of strength in numbers. The more people who succeed, the more you succeed. It will eventually lead to more success for literally everyone. Whole fam eats. So I don't care how much money you have in the bank, how many followers you have, or what you're doing in regards to what society claims is successful. I personally believe that success shows in how good of a person you are. So I want to showcase those people, because they deserve that opportunity too. And if there's things that I talk about that you just want to share on, that you want me to share, please let me know. Everybody just deserves that opportunity. It's supposed to be a fair and better world, but it's still so selfish and schemy, and I'm just not playing that game anymore. We're doing things differently here, and if you don't like that and you don't only want to see and listen to flashy people and their flashy things, then get the fuck out now. I really do my best to have a unique way of viewing things on the world, other than when I'm actually conversing and needing to use my opinions, because those who know me know I will die on my hill of an argument sometimes. But that's just being human. And for the most part, though, I really do view life through a unique lens. Anyway, I've also loved to write, whether it was just short stories or poems or anything. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Again, I am a romantic, so you know I love stories and love poems and all things like that. I think everybody should have a journal just to get to know themselves a little bit, even if you're just doing a little, you know, like just a little bit, even if you think it's like silly, just keep doing it, and it's gonna end up, you're gonna end up seeing that it's not so silly. You're gonna look back, you're gonna do it for a couple days, be like, this is stupid, this is, whoa, okay, I see what you did there, right? You'll figure it out yourself, I promise. I don't need to explain anymore, just do it. Other thing I'm super fucking passionate about it, and like, you know, when I was in college, you know, they say you don't need to have it all figured out and you can change majors and change this, but what they don't tell you is what you do need to figure out, though. Like, human to human, just normal, like, have this shit figured out. God, being an adult, I struggled immensely more than most of my peers, and I say that not as a pity party at all, just as a literal fact. Like, most people I went to college with had nuclear homes, a whole savings account set up for them for college. They already had a credit card that their parents were using for years to build them credit, and I just did not, you know? I just did not at all. Not the kind of family I came from. We didn't really talk about money, and when we did, it was bad, and we just don't want to talk about it, right? And that's how it was. So, like, I wish I had some sort of thing to be like, hey, get a credit card at this age. Like, hey, there was a little, you know, a little thing. And that's goes into my whole thing with, I think the schools should teach us, you know, like how to be a human. Like, a lot of things I'm really passionate on are like being a fucking human. Here, let's get people the resources they actually need. And I feel like it's like this weird closed off thing, where like even more people coming to light about mental health and vulnerability, and like, here, we get it, it's still like we're kind of like secretly passing them like something, like kind of like you're like slipping them a note of class, like you're too afraid to say it to everybody and too afraid to be like, no, like this is what, I don't know, it's still weird, it's still judgy, it's like still like, hey, I did this thing, this is what works for me in my morning routine, hope it helps, rather than just like we all come together and be like, all right, we're all gonna fucking do this morning routine and we're all gonna fucking better the planet because strength in numbers, so let's make the world a better place. And yep, I'm being a little vague with my story so far is because I want to actually spend time in future episodes covering those topics in great detail and sharing stories when they come up organically rather than like forcing out all of it. And I figured, you know, there's like almost enough trauma in it. Y'all get the gist of that. You know, mainly I'm a struggling 24-year-old and actually not struggling. I'm fucking thriving, actually. And that's one of the first times I can really say that in my life. And it took going through all of those things to be able to be here and talk about these things like on this episode and actually be able to be open to talk about the things I've been through. You know, I had 4.5 years of an abusive relationship, super fucking toxic, and grew up constantly in toxic environments around a lot of drug addicts and liars and manipulators. And it's just the shit I've seen, the shit I saw as a child, it's just not right. It's not okay, and none of it is okay, and I'm really sick of the world treating each other like this. You know, they say like, oh, you can't pick your family, ha ha ha, and it's like, all right, but like, we can be better as a society and help each other not be so fucking shitty. You know? We can actually care more for others. Because it's not gonna disadvantage you by caring about somebody else. And the only reason why people think that is because they've been hurt. And hurt people. So maybe heal people. Heal people. That's funny. But yeah, like I just we'll get through it. We'll get into it. But my shit is not okay. And caused me to be really anxious and suicidal and depressed adult. And you know, like when I started going through therapy and realizing all the things, not like realizing, but digging deep into the things that really hurt me, it opened a lot of new wounds. And it was a scary journey because I did get really suicidal when I was in college. And it's just fucking crazy. It's just fucking crazy that life can get us to this point. And makes me sick to my stomach. And most of the time, people just really feel alone. People just want human connection and relationships and to know somebody's there for them, because it's tough out there, bruv. It's tough out there. It's fucking hard. In this economy, it's hard. And I had a lot of reservations with posting this podcast or doing this podcast at all. And I really just have all the energy in me to get it out. And I say energy, like, not like, woo, yeah, I'm pumped to do this, but it's in like, oh, I have that itch, I just need to get it out. You know, when people make art or they go exercise, they need to get it out some way, somehow, get that itch, you know, scratch that itch. And yeah, I was just thinking about how the way the world is like working, and it's just really, you know, something I see and I feel deeply concerned and passionate for. It's like, in the simplest way, like, I feel like we failed a lot, like, as a society, and like all the ways that we've been, all the foundations we've been building off of, like, they're not good, you know. And maybe I'm just a regular person, and you know, what kind of led me to have this thought in the first place is I was thinking about, you know, posting this, and I'm just over caring about people's judgment, you know. Like, the only reservations I had with this podcast wasn't, it actually really excited me. I'm like, okay, let me just get it out, right? And whoever listens, right? And maybe it resonates, maybe it doesn't, all of that. There's always going to be feedback and everything, so there's always going to be people judging you, and what you have to do is literally just not care and believe that intuition inside yourself, and believe that, like, there's a reason for this calling, there's a reason for doing all these things, right? And you know, like, other people's judgment also, like, I'm sure people who know me are gonna judge me and be like, oh, I don't even want to know what they would say, truthfully. But it's hurts my feelings, obviously, because, like, people close to you should want you to grow and build and try everything you want to try and do and experience. And, you know, I'm really over this fucking world. Like, I'm really over the way it's been going. And I say all the time, you know, there's a lot of people doing good things for, like, mental health and bring community back together, and there's a lot of people on this wave, and it's amazing. But it's just like, what the fuck? Like, why did it have to take this? And, like, I guess that's all part of, you know, the way life goes. Things have to die in order to be born again, or all of this stuff. Like, you know, like, you gotta go through the trenches in order to come out and have a whole new approach to things and stuff. And you have to face the dark to have the light. You can't have the good without the bad, right? And sometimes it takes destruction to have construction, or whatever fucking metaphor or simile you want to fucking use, right? And I was just thinking, like, it's just ridiculous, though, because so many people, you know, like, we're all just here just trying to literally do our best. Like, we really are. I know every single person is just trying to actually make their life better constantly. Like, and that's fucked up. You know, we all joke and we're like, oh yeah, we were just popped out into this world. Like, wow, fucking thanks. Yeah, let me just try to survive. And we all just kind of like, haha, joke about it. And like, we're like, oh yeah, privately go to therapy and stuff. But like, we all need to come together and be like, this shit isn't working. We need a new plan, okay? Whatever fucking the leaders have been going by telling us this is the way to do things, this is the way the world works. Clearly not, because it's not working. It's literally not working. Take a good hard fucking look at any news outlet and just take a good hard look at the world. It's not working. Like, enough, you know? And that's okay if you feel like scared. You're like, oh, well, too much pride and ego that you're like, oh no, like we can't let them know we fucked up. You can, though. Like, you can. Like, everything's always better with fucking honesty, and the truth comes out anyway. And, you know, like, that's why, like, crazy fucking movies, like, whatchamacallit? what's that movie called with Jennifer Lawrence and all those people? Oh, shit. Anyway, there's all those movies that are just, like, so fucked up, and them just getting an escape plan. Like, they just won't tell us that they, like, fucked up because it's too egotistical and prideful, and maybe this is a rant that's not for everybody, and I get that. But my point is like, y'all did a bad job. Look at the world. Look at the world. That's your fault. All the people that have been leading us, your fault. Like, why do you want to live in this kind of world? Why do you want to live in a kind of world where everybody is so fucking scared and hates each other and there's so much violence and all of this? Like, why do you keep avoiding those problems? It's just ridiculous to me. Like, we're all humans. We all just kind of fucking showed up here, and we're all really just trying to do our best. And it's like, y'all are focused on the wrong fucking things. The wrong things. And like, so many of those things that you're focused on don't fucking matter. Don't matter. And like, yeah, this is just probably the way, like, I think and stuff, but, like, maybe shift your perspective. Fuck, like, I don't know, like, the economy and blah, 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 all of that stuff. Like, you know, like, in a literal sense, somebody just fucking made up money. Like, one day they just started doing it, and now we have all of these things, and it's like, somebody just made it up. We, as humans, don't ever fucking need any of that. We, as humans, could literally have all of our fucking houses and stuff like that taken away, all of our phones and everything, we'd be pretty fine, you know? Like in a literal sense, you know? Of course, there's always, like, extremes of it, but, like, obviously, there's a lot of corruption in the world, and a lot of things would come up out of that, right? If we all lost our things, a lot of people would go insane because a lot of people can't live without these things, and they would freak the fuck out because they're big babies, basically. They're big babies. But on a scientific level, we came from the dirt. We came from the forest. We didn't always have houses. We didn't always have grocery stores. Like, we don't need any of this. And I think this is a lot of things a lot of people just need to realize. And it's like, no, it's okay. You still have your things. They're not getting taken away from you, but it's just like, at least just fucking acknowledge that, like, you don't actually really need it, and that those things really don't matter. And what matters is, like, the human connection and connecting with others and community and all of that, not living in your own little fucking bubble where all you can see is yourself. And don't get me wrong, it's hard being in that, like, it's normal to be in that state. That's the way most of the world works. Like, all you do is see and focus on yourself, and everybody tells you, like, focus on yourself. Yes, in that way. But don't be so fucking ignorant to the fact that other people have lives and other people are trying to do their best as well. And, like, maybe we should all just, like, help each other a little bit more, you know? I don't have all the details out, obviously, but, like, I think more people should get into, you know, this point of view a little bit. I mean, like, we're all sitting here trying to run businesses and do these things and get 18 fucking jobs just for a means of survival and get all these fancy things and things just to say we made it. And we're all stressed out doing it. So, like, it's not working, you know? That's not. If it really stresses you out that much and you feel like you're never gonna fucking make it, fuck that. Give that shit up. Like, give that shit up. Go where you find actual happiness. And it takes digging deep into yourself and, you know, usually healing a lot of things and stuff, but, like, genuinely ask yourself, like, what is it that makes you happy? And if you don't know, go find it and just try new things, try things that make you happier. Because I promise, if more people get happy, like, strength in numbers, the world will get better, you know? It's literally that law of attraction and building momentum of all of those things. The world will get better. If we just individually get better and we help each other get better and give a lot more fucking compassion and understanding for this world and realizing that, you know, some people, we all just fucking popped out of a vagina one day. Literally, we all just fucking popped out. literally looked at our life and had to just fucking grow up with what was handed to us. And I say handed because it was. We just popped out and this was it. This was our life. This was what we, I guess, chose to do on this fucking conquest, right? We picked this one, right? And some people had really shitty ones. Some people had a really, really great ones. And that causes a lot of jealousy and hate and vengeance and anger and meanness and exclusion and stuff like that. And it's just like, why? Why? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't, it does matter. And like, these things are shitty, but it's like, those ones that were in the better situations were like, hey, that's fucked up, I just popped out too. Like, he also just popped out. He didn't deserve this, he or she, whatever the fuck. I don't even know who I'm talking about. I'm just saying a random example, like they didn't deserve it, right? I should help. Instead, because the world's a scary place and we grow up to believe that there's a lot of violence and drugs and crime and all of this scary things, and everybody just stays there and sits in that fear. So like, if you're sitting there on your high horse and you think that you made it because you're up there in your little castle protected and you just have your things and your people and that's it. If you think you made it, you're wrong. You're wrong. Because you're sitting there living in fear of what's outside, rather than just realizing that it's a part of you. It's a part of you too. It's your world. It's our world. Okay? And yeah, so that's my take on it. I'm not fucking jealous of millionaires and billionaires at all. I'm more so like disappointed in the world that we live in, because it's like all these people have so much power and they choose to do nothing with it. And they think starting new businesses and polluting the fucking earth even more is helping, because they keep getting money and they think that that's all that matters. It's like, it just doesn't at all. And like, it's just really disappointing to see so many people be so inhumane. And I say this on like just a very real level, on like an emotional, real level. Like, I see you, I see the things that you have. I know people like you. I get it. I get why you feel the way you do. And a big thing about me is, and why I love knowing other people's stories, is because we're all just products of our environments. We all just kind of kept like picking up little things along the way, and this is what we're created to be, right? We're all just product of environments, from learned behaviors and certain schools and certain locations and certain cultures and all of that. And it's like, I get it why those people are, because they grow up and they're taught to just be that way and not give a fuck about anybody else. And I'm just over it. I'm just over it, because it's just so much judgment, and that judgment just comes from fear. And I'm just over it. I'm over it. Like, we really, and that's why I say, like, y'all failed. Like, we have a terrifying world. Like, everybody's just scared. Everybody's just scared and surviving. That's the world you really want? Like, really? That's the world you really, really want? You want to be scared of it? Like, rather than, like, help it so you can enjoy so much more of it? It doesn't make any sense to me. At all, honestly. And yeah, it's crazy. And that's why I really say we need to do better as a society, because everybody's a product of their environments. And maybe if their environments were just a little fucking better, everything else would be a little better. People would be better. The world would be better. And for anybody that feels like I shouldn't be saying anything that I'm saying at all, or anything like that, or that, that you're against helping people through shared experiences and adding to the universal healing, please, please talk to me. Please tell me if you disagree with this, because this is my whole spiel with this, is that I want perspectives. I want to help people understand that it's not a bad thing to point out the bad things, okay? So many people are afraid of communicating and confrontation, and they act like it's such a bad thing, but really, like, talking about it isn't what makes it the problem. I'm like thinking about fucking how many times I've said that to so many of like my exes or ex-friends or anything. Like, talking about the problem isn't what makes it the problem. The problem already exists, okay? So bringing awareness in hopes that it'll help somebody else not feel so fucking alone. If you have a problem with that, please, let's talk about it. I would love to. I would love nothing more. And I just wanted to add that because I've had a lot of reservations with posting this or anything, a lot of like imposter syndrome and anything, and that goes from years of being around manipulators and narcissists and me thinking that my things aren't important and who the fuck am I to do this? You know what? Who the fuck is anybody to do fucking anybody? So this is something I wanted to do, and I just want to connect and bring awareness to topics that I know so many other people are dealing and battling with. And you know, it's a crazy world we live in, and I think any little bit helps. So anybody trying to do their part, if you're against that, come on. We're all just trying to do our part. We're all just trying to be better. That's the whole point, right? And being better starts by pointing out what's wrong, what needs to improve, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Also wanted to add that the podcast structures, this one's just going to be really long, so you guys get my story a little bit and get to know me a little bit and hear me and all of that. And the rest of them, like, some might be 10 minutes long, some might be 30 minutes long. It kind of just depends on the topics, because I think some are worth a lot more time and some take a lot more to uncover, if that makes sense. So specific stories and everything, like, obviously we'll get more into it, but yeah, they're just gonna be kind of whatever and going from basically just off of my intuition and kind of what comes organically and how good the conversations are going and what is needed. And yeah, this was fun. Hope you got to know me a little. Now we're going to dive deep into the realms of various topics, exploring the shit people really want to say and being vulnerable and brutally fucking honest about our fucked up life experiences. Hope to shed some light and heal others through these stories, and overall just be better as one. Last thing before we sign off, I'm going to leave you with a little bit of homework at the end of every episode. And I know, no, it's not a big deal. It's just a song that I advise you listen to and you rock with it and you try to reflect on your life. So this week, one of my favorites, a song that honestly helped me through a lot and carried me through a lot, Let It All Work Out by Lil Wayne. Go rock out to it, go vibe with it, have fun. Love yourself, love you all. Let's be better. Peace and blessings. I am out.